I do a lot of injury stuff at the drop zone. There's always someone that's an employee there that's got a shoulder problem from, doing what we do. There's always a lot of right shoulder issues because that's our deployment side. Usually it's the tandem people. If they do 10 tandems a day and they're, say, my size, about 140 to 160 pounds, and you're taking up a 220-pound rider on a regular basis, it's going to be a lot of wear and tear on your body. So I try to help them out as much as possible because most of them don't have insurance anyway. So I kind of go through with those guys and show them a lot of stretching, and if I need to do some other stuff, I try to help them out as much as I can. But again, it's mostly education because I can't, it's like I don't want to do that all the time. I want to show them what they need to do so I can go play too. So
so what happens with a diver? I know you deploy, you pull the little ball. What?
That's a great way of putting it.
What is it called?
Our pilot chute, yeah.
The pilot. Well, what's the thing? It's a ball, right?
It's a hacky. Yeah, it's a hacky sack.
Yeah,
it's sewn into it.
Oh, okay. So you pull on the sack, yeah. But why does that cause some kind of like a shoulder thing?
There's a lot of rotation. There's a lot of internal rotation thrown into external rotation. So it's not and there's force with it. It's not like you're just kind of doing this. It's a big movement. And over years and years and years of doing that, there's lots of rotator cuff tears, lots of shoulder arthritis, and it's almost 100% on the right side.
So it's cumulative. It's over many jumps.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you think I got a buddy that retired after he hit 23,000 jumps, and most of those were tandems. I'd say probably 20 of those were tandems. So, just years and years and years of doing that is going to eventually end up screwing it up. There was one point where I think there were 12 of us that had rotator cuff repairs in the same year. So we actually started a Facebook group. It was a private group, but it was Skydivers with rotator cuff repairs. So we all chatted together, and usually it was somebody getting on there asking me questions. But I mean, it's that's the wear and tear of it. I mean, if you're on a computer all day and you end up, I used to see a lot of 10 keyers when I worked for another company who these people were working for a major company that sold a lot of cosmetics, and they 10 keyed on the right hand all the time, and they would all end up with carpal tunnel, trigger finger problems, things like that from just constant use of just the one hand. So it's the repetition of it. So
yeah, so injuries like the tandem instructor getting the rotator cuff tears, the 10 keys, so they're coming to you after this has already happened. Is there something other than changing their career? Is there something people can do that limits injury or even prevents it?
Yeah, obviously. So one of the things is, with the skydiver, one is they got to rest. Unfortunately, there's a rest period that needs to happen. But I like to do what's called an active rest. You stop jumping for a while where you're doing the same repetitive action, but then you start strengthening and stretching in the way. So I mean, a skydiver that's doing it repetitively is no different than, say, a baseball pitcher. The same type of trauma, or a football player, a football quarterback, or a tennis player on a serve. It's the same type of repetitive action that causes trauma eventually. So you figure out again what they're doing. If you already know, then you start just a lot of different strengthening exercises. If it's bad enough and they want to keep jumping and you get that side where it's good, a lot of times we will take our gear to a master rigger who will switch our deployment to the other side.
Ooh.
That to me would be super tricky. I mean, like I said, 23 years of skydiving, doing the exact same way over and over and over, and then having to change something like that. It doesn't seem like much, but it is. But there are some.
Seems like a big deal.
Yeah, there are some people that have had their gear switched over so they can continue to jump. I mean, like I said, I've had 5 shoulder surgeries. Fortunately, none of which have limited me in my jumping or climbing or anything, except for the time it needed for that to heal up.